We kill him.
They straight there for us to do that though. Like this nigga straight.
Yeah.
They straight asked for us to do that.
Like, we kill him, cuz. I had that same Drake that my partner smacked him with.
I just want everybody to know, cuz.
You real?
J. Cole. We kill him. We the reason he did.
Y'all know how he did.
I remember everything that was on monitors. I remember everything.
That right there is a mother trying to explain why her 19-year-old son walked straight to his op's front door and knocked on it in broad daylight with nothing but his phone in his hand. And what happened in the next 18 seconds after that door opened was caught on camera and spread across the internet within hours. But once you find out what was going on in that group chat the same morning and how deep this beef actually ran, this story stops being simple real fast. Before we get into what happened on February 28th, 2026, you need to know who J4 was and what kind of world he was living in, because this story does not make sense without that background. Wop Block J4 was a 19-year-old unsigned drill rapper from the Peabody-Darst Webb neighborhood on the south side of St. Louis, Missouri. He repped a crew called 1448, and the name comes directly from the specific blocks they hold down. The 14 represents the 1400 block of Peabody, and the 48 represents the 4800 block of Shreve. And together, those two blocks formed an alliance that people in local hood documentaries consistently describe as one of the most well-known and dangerous sets in the entire city.
Hold on, tell them who y'all is. Who you with, man?
I'm J4. Look at him on Instagram, YouTube. J4.
Say no more, J4.
That right there is J4 at a Brick City Day event, which is a local hood documentary series that follows life inside different St. Louis neighborhoods. He was relaxed, confident, and clearly proud of where he came from.
The biggest day of the year, you hear me?
Nothing less.
We got a little dude up
Hold on. Tell them one more time though. Where we at though? Where we at with it?
Downtown
Projects.
No wood.
No, for real.
Salamas, come on.
Ooh, so y'all got a store over here? Y'all got a store we go to?
Salamas on bro.
Damn.
We have not last fun with this shit.
That fuck look like some Call of Duty shit right
We having
now.
our little fun. Still our playground low key for real.
Nah, for real.
He was not a nationally known name, but inside St. Louis, he was building real traction, and the people around him were starting to notice.
His closest connection in the rap world was Mo P, an established St. Louis rapper tied to the 48 Shreve and 55 Dipset circles. And J4 was consistently described as Mo P's close friend and affiliate. His regular collaborators also included Wopo Reaper, Wopo Rels, and Gen Noob, all from the same hood network. His Instagram bio described him as an unsigned artist, pushing his album called Resentment, which he dropped in early 2026 and included tracks like No Emotions, Free Reap, and Forever Long Live Tink. His YouTube channel had official music videos up, with his most watched clip pulling over 31,000 views locally, which for an underground street rapper still building his name is actually solid numbers. But J4 was not just a rapper. He was deep in a very specific and dangerous street situation that had been going on for over a
decade before he even started posting music online. The 1448 crew sits in direct conflict with a group called Frenchtown, also known as the 1300 Frenchies or the Nightcrawlers, a blood-affiliated set that operates out of the Frenchtown apartments on South 13th Street. And here is the thing that makes this beef different from most. These two crews are not on opposite ends of the city. They are literally living next to each other, with residents describing the distance between the two sets as somewhere between 50 and 100 feet inside the same public housing area. You cannot leave your front door without potentially walking into the enemy, and that kind of closeness makes everything 10 times more intense because there is nowhere to go.
The beef between 1448 and Frenchtown had already produced multiple shootings and deaths on both sides over more than 10 years, with every loss triggering another retaliation that kept the cycle spinning. One of the most significant losses for 1448 before J4's death was a man called Curry B, who was an affiliate of 48 Shreve. He was shot and killed on October 31st, 2022. After his death, 1448 members joined together into a wider network called Back Pocket Gang, which they sometimes shortened to BPG, as a way of consolidating strength for protection against further attacks. By the time J4 was releasing music in 2025, both drill music and social media had pushed this beef to a level where simply being affiliated with either side made you a target on any given day. Diss tracks were naming specific blocks, and group chats had people from both sides in them. Young rappers like J4 were in the middle of it all, and the street reality they were rapping about was the same one they had to navigate every time they stepped outside. Now, the person the internet widely identified as the shooter, though police never officially confirmed this publicly, goes by the names Kendo B and Slapper Son. Online communities consistently describe him as a Frenchtown and Nightcrawlers affiliate from the 1300 block, the same set sitting right next door to J4's 1448 territory. And according to drill scene commentary across multiple platforms, the two sides had been actively going at each other online weeks before February 28.
About a month before he died, J4 had been publicly dissing a recently deceased St. Louis rapper named HB, whose real name was Stefan Marmon, directly on his Instagram page. HB had been shot and killed in early January 2026 in the Jennings area of North St. Louis County, and J4 was online taunting him while he was already in the ground. In the drill world, people call this kind of move a dead diss, and while it is not rare in this scene, it tells you a lot about the energy J4 was carrying in the weeks before everything went wrong.
They thought we don't smoke HB. Boy, you goofy ass the fuck on my daddy. You need a cigarette.
Then came the morning of February 28th. Around 8 a.m., J4 was active in a group chat that had people from the Frenchtown side in it. A chat that had apparently been running every single morning between people who used to be cool with each other before the beef took over. By community accounts, J4 was in there taunting the other side.
waking people up early, stirring things up. And some people in the drill community later said his behavior in that chat that morning directly triggered what happened a few hours later. But then J4's mother came out publicly on Facebook, and what she said changed how a lot of people understood that morning. She explained that the people in that group chat had not just been trading disses with her son, they had been threatening to kill her personally. These were direct threats made on her life. She said they had been watching her movements, tracking what car she drove, monitoring her daily routine without her knowing. And she said her son, who she described as someone who always stood up to protect her, walked to that apartment not to clown around on a live stream, but to go address the threats against his mother face to face. Whether that fully lines up with everything else that happened that morning or not, it is a layer of this story that most of the people sharing that footage online completely ignore. So it is now around 11 in the morning on that same Saturday, and J4 is walking toward an apartment building on the 1200 block of South 13th Street, which is right in the heart of the Peabody-Darst Webb neighborhood. The building sits directly across the street from Peabody Elementary School, so there are families around and children in the area on a weekend morning, and J4 is walking up to this building dressed in all black, with nothing visible in his hands except his phone. He was reportedly on a group FaceTime call at the time, and according to multiple accounts, he was also broadcasting on TikTok Live, which means people in real time were watching him walk up to that door. And according to community reports, the people on the Frenchtown side were already aware he was on his way and had been watching every step he made toward that building. The Ring doorbell camera on the apartment captured everything in about 18 seconds. What it shows is J4 walking up, knocking several times, and then the instant the door opens, he is met with gunfire from inside the residence. He was shot multiple times, including in the face and head. He turned to run and made a few steps before collapsing right there on the porch. Full daylight in front of the camera. Emergency services took him to a nearby hospital, but J4 did not survive, and he was pronounced dead.
Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating a deadly shooting in South City. It happened around 11 o'clock this morning on South 13th Street. Police say they found a man there suffering from gunshot wounds. Paramedics rushed him to a hospital where he later died. Police have not shared any other details about the victim or possible suspects.
By the time the footage spread online later that same day, the internet had already split into two camps. One side looked at the video and said the shooter had every right to fire, that when your active enemy knocks on your front door in the middle of an ongoing beef, you have every reason to fear for your life. The other side looked at the same video and said this was too much, that a young man holding only a phone was shot down before anyone exchanged a single word. St. Louis Metropolitan Police District 3 responded to the scene, and homicide detectives immediately took over the investigation. One person connected to the residence was taken in for questioning. Around March 4th, 2026, the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office under prosecutor Gabe Gore announced they would not be filing any charges and made their decision based on the law. That was the whole state.
2 days later, Gore spoke publicly again because people were not satisfied with that explanation. He said, "What you're seeing is one piece of evidence in a case. We as prosecutors are looking at a much broader spectrum. At the end of the day, in any instance like this, you're looking at what was the threat that was posed and what was the force used to repel that threat." Gore specifically pointed to Missouri's Castle Doctrine and the state's self-defense laws, which are some of the strongest in the entire country when it comes to protecting people who defend their own homes. Under Missouri law, a person defending their own home has no duty to retreat. They are allowed to use deadly force if they genuinely believe it is necessary to stop what they think is a serious threat to their life or safety. Once self-defense is raised, the government has to prove beyond any doubt that it was not actually self-defense, and that is a very hard bar to meet. Prosecutors also reviewed other evidence that the public never had access to, including additional videos, interviews with witnesses, and physical evidence at the scene. One significant detail that came out was that the apartment had bullet holes in the windows from an earlier shooting, suggesting the person inside that apartment had already been shot at in the same beef before J4 ever knocked on that door. That context matters a great deal when you are trying to determine whether someone inside that apartment had a reasonable fear for their life.
A defense attorney named Joel Schwartz, who reviewed the case publicly, acknowledged that the footage alone might not seem like it supports self-defense, but he pointed out that under Missouri law, prior threats and the established history of violence between these two crews could absolutely justify the decision to shoot the moment that door opened. So the legal chapter closed fast, no charges, and the shooter walked free. And as of April 2026, that decision has not changed, and there has been no grand jury review, no civil case from J4's family, and no new evidence that has prompted a second look at the case. Now, this is where Mo P stepped in publicly, because while the legal system was wrapping things up, people on the drill side of the internet were celebrating, and Mo P had something to say about that directly.
Come on, bruh. We credited niggas for... Boy, that was your life on the line. Boy, you had to kill him, boy. Come on, bruh. Is you serious? Do these niggas be serious, bruh? Get the fuck out of here. It's a you and him situation. Fuck out of here. I catch a self-defense. That's what they gonna tell me. Stupid. You gotta pull down choppers for this shit. What about the niggas who pulling down choppers? Y'all just discredit them niggas, man. Fuck out of here. Self-defense ain't no motherfucking hat. Come on, man. Y'all nigga, I give it to any nigga. I'ma credit any nigga, bruh. I'm in the streets. I lose niggas. That's what it is. You think I'm finna be, oh yeah. Bro, I lose niggas. I'm in the streets. This shit gonna go on for forever. Come on, bruh. Tell me. Now tell me this. We not discrediting niggas who pulling down choppers, bruh. Fuck no. I just feel like that's what y'all on, bruh. Fuck no. You don't call out no shit about no self-defense. Fuck no. You gotta pull up choppers, bruh. You wanna be hot? You gotta pull up choppers. You ain't pulling up choppers, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. You niggas be crazy than a motherfucker. Ain't nobody standing over nobody. The fuck, nigga? Fuck wrong with you niggas? What they talking about? Nigga ain't talking about shit. Fuck, nigga. I'm the nigga who out here straight rage baiting and trolling niggas. Boy, ain't shit. I ain't hurt. Cause you see how many people on this bitch?
Mo P was not pretending J4 made a smart decision that morning. He was clear about that. But his whole point was that what happened does not become something you get to celebrate just because you came out on top. Because if someone knocks on your door holding nothing but a phone and you shoot them before they can say a word, that is not a victory worth bragging about. It means you panicked. And in Mo P's version of street code, a body you caught because you were scared is not something you wear like a trophy. Community voices across social media and the drill forums largely agreed with Mo P's position. And many people use J4's death as an example of exactly what happens when online beefs are given space to grow until they reach the point where there is only one way they can end.
But reactions were mixed overall. Some people grieved and some celebrated.
We kill him.
They straight there for us to do that though. Like this nigga straight.
Yeah.
They straight asked for us to do that.
Like, we kill him, cuz I had that same Drake that my partner smacked him with. Hold on.
I don't even want to tell him what I I rage baited that man to his death this morning. I can chill.
He called the group chat early one
No.
You know that ain't.
He called the group chat 8 in the morning. Who tried to die? Nigga, you?
Oh, my mama, him? His ass got eliminated on my dead.
His ass woke us up at 8 in the morning, nigga. He just got his... Man, I don't even want to do that.
And a lot of people kept re-watching those 18 seconds, trying to figure out where exactly everything went wrong for a 19-year-old with actual music out and actual people behind him. Let us zoom out for a second, because this story is bigger than one shooting, and if you only focus on what happened on that porch, you are going to miss what this is actually telling you. The 1448 crew and Frenchtown have been in direct conflict for over 10 years, and the thing that makes this particular beef so difficult to escape is the geography. These are not two groups that happen to exist in the same city. They are living on the same block, separated by what people describe as 50 to 100 feet of shared space. That means you might be beefing with someone you grew up next to, someone whose family your family knows, someone you might have been cool with before someone somewhere drew a line on the ground and told you which side you were on. And that is exactly what J4's mother described when she talked about that group chat. She said those people used to be friends with her son. They fell out somewhere along the way, but never actually stopped talking to each other. And somewhere in all of those daily conversations, the threats started creeping in. Until one morning, they were threatening to kill her personally. That level of closeness and that level of hostility, sitting in the same space at the same time, is a recipe for exactly what happened. His mentor, Tavon Brooks from the Show Me Peace Youth Initiative, had known J4 for about a year before he was killed and described him as a happy, caring young man who was genuinely passionate about music and his family. Brooks said that consistent access to support and real intervention might have helped steer him away from the situations that ended his life. And that is a hard thing to hear, because it means the people who knew J4 personally believe this did not have to happen.
And J4 is not the only name. Another St. Louis rapper was shot and killed in a completely separate incident within the same 4-day window. What made J4's death reach beyond the usual drill community circles was the doorbell footage. A Ring camera capturing 18 clear seconds of a shooting in broad daylight meant that people who had never heard of St. Louis drill or 1448 or Frenchtown suddenly had a strong opinion about what happened. And a lot of those opinions landed on he should have known better. And maybe there is some truth in that. But that framing does not account for a decade of violence these young men were born into. A mother who says her son went over there to protect her. Or the fact that the person inside that door was also a young man shaped by the exact same environment and the exact same 50 feet of contested ground. Missouri's castle doctrine gave the shooter the legal right to use deadly force in defense of his home. And the prosecutors who reviewed all the evidence, including evidence the public never saw, decided that outcome was supported by the law. That is the legal reality. But the legal reality and the human reality are two very different conversations, and both of them matter here. The human reality is that a 19-year-old who was dropping music, building a name, and trying to stand up for his mother is gone. And his final album, called Resentment, came out in the same year he died, and he never got to see where any of it could have taken him. Do you think the shooter was wrong to have shot J4 before he even said anything? Let me know in the comments section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.